I know a fair chunk of you guys aren't going to believe this, but Wargaming has been on a little bit of a streak here recently. There's been several announcements and changes that have been overall positive for the most part. They've been making changes to submarines, addressing some of the most frustrating parts about dealing with them. We got the ping indicator that now indicates what direction the submarine is heading in after they ping. Shotgunning has been nerfed to beyond 3 kilometers now. I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that it's 100% solved, but they're making meaningful changes. They also announced, I believe last week or maybe the week before then, that they are moving forward with the CV changes to where CV spotting will be much less of an issue going forward. And then one of the bigger announcements here recently is that the Wisconsin is coming to a dockyard. Well, you will only have to buy a mere 2 phases of that dockyard to receive a tier 10 premium ship. And in the middle of said dockyard, you will be able to receive the West Virginia 44, a tier 7 American premium battleship, completely for free. And a Tier 7 premium battleship that has been highly requested and sought after here for quite some time, and we get her completely for free if you didn't pick her up during her initial release back in July. Then on top of that, we also got the announcement that we're getting the Rodney, a very sought after and in-demand premium ship, and then probably the only ship more in demand besides the Rodney that isn't the New Jersey, the Johnston was finally announced as she is coming to the game, I believe sometime next year or maybe in October of this year. But again, we shall see. Now, this video isn't about those previous announcements and changes, but rather another announcement that comes today that is just, I mean, it's excellent. It's awesome. So today, the day of recording, a article was published that was going over the changes to the public test server, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a server that you can hop on. You can test out some of the future updates a couple of weeks before they come out. I highly suggest you download it. You can just hop on it for literally just a match or two, and you do generally get some free stuff on your main account. And of course, you can check out all the new stuff in early access a little bit before everybody else, right? It's free to sign up for. It's, you just log into your account and you're good to go. But anyway, as part of the update to the PT server, they released a article going over the changes that were being tested on the PT server, and this is where we get another awesome bit of information. I'm going to read it off of the screen here for you. You can check out the article. I will link to it in the description down below. So they say Wisconsin is coming to the dockyard. The construction process consists of 30 phases, 28 of which can be completed via dockyard combat mission groups. If you complete all the missions, you only need to purchase 2 phases to earn Big Whiskey herself. Moreover, Stage 20 will reward you with the Tier 7 American Premium Battleship West Virginia 44. But if she's already in your fleet, you'll receive 3 dockyard phases instead. So with that and completing enough combat missions, you can earn the brand new Tier 10 American Premium Battleship, the Wisconsin, completely free. So for those of us that bought the the West Virginia already, we get a free Wisconsin. And again, this ship was super popular when it came out, so I know there's no shortage of players on the American server, at least, that bought the West Virginia when she was released back in July. So now all those players literally get a free Tier 10 battleship for just grinding your way through the dockyard missions. And it's not like they just give you the 2 phases that you need to complete it. You get 3. So you get 3 free phases of the dockyard. And even if you don't get the Wisconsin and you're just playing the game, you already have a West Virginia 44, when you get to the halfway point of the dockyard, which is, a little over halfway point because it's stage 20 and there's 30 phases. So you get a little over halfway point of the dockyard. You get the West Virginia 44. If you already have it, you get 3 more phases of free stuff, right? So that's quite excellent in my opinion. Probably the second best thing they could do if you already had the West Virginia 44. Now, if you're wondering like why this is a big deal, previously when you have the midpoint premium ship already in your port, they would typically reward you with credits for said premium ship. They wouldn't give you the doubloon value, which is what a lot of us would like to see happen, right? You get the doubloon value of your tier 7 or tier 6 premium ship that you already have, since you already bought the ship and you're being offered it for free, but no, they usually give you the credits for it. But, I mean, this again is the second best thing they can do besides giving you the doubloon value for the West Virginia 44. So, if you have the West Virginia 44, great news. You have a free Wisconsin waiting for you after you just grind through the dockyard missions. Now, of course, a huge caveat to this is the dockyard missions. How crazy are they going to be? Now, in previous years, when the dockyard ship is a higher tier ship, typically for the last set or two of missions, the difficulty does start... Well, I shouldn't say difficulty. The grindiness of those dockyard missions do start to stack up. And you do have to kind of commit a more, shall we say, significant amount of time towards playing the game in order to acquire said dockyard phases. And I mean, like, it is a tier 10 ship. They sell these things regularly for $180, right? So it would make sense that if they're giving one away for free, and one that looks as good as the Wisconsin does look, like not just the ship looks hot because it's an Iowa class and it's an excellent and beautiful design, the ship itself, like statistically, from her in-game characteristics, looks like she's going to be quite a good ship. I would expect a fair amount of grind. I wouldn't expect Puerto Rico levels of grind because they've learned from their mistakes with the Puerto Rico event. They saw the backlash to that, so I doubt it'll be that bad. But I'm not saying it's going to be, you can just play the game normally and you'll be able to get the ship. I highly doubt that. If they do that, great, excellent. I'm very excited if they do turn out to be like that. But I would expect you're going to have to play, particular classes in a particular way in order to acquire the ship. Like, you're going to have to go out of your way to, get 100 torpedo hits or whatever they're going to require you to get with tier, I don't know, 5+ American destroyers or whatever that they're going to have you do for the Wisconsin. But I mean, yeah, it is a free tier 10 premium ship. Like that is not to be understated here. These things aren't cheap in the game economy, right? And I'm not saying that like that is, a norm across all of, like the economics and stuff, that $180 for a premium item is to be expected. No, I'm just saying by Wargaming's own established price points, this isn't going to be a cheap ship. So I would expect there's going to be a bit of a grind. But again, I wouldn't say like Puerto Rico levels because they have learned their lesson from that event. They haven't published the combat missions to my knowledge yet. In the public test server, you can go in and look at those combat missions, but on the public test server, all the combat missions and stuff, it's all sped up because they want you to just test out the mechanics and such and just make sure the missions are working. There's no goof ups or things there with them. So they typically don't publish the actual dockyard missions on the public test server. After the Puerto Rico event, for I think the first 3 or 4 dockyards after that, they did publish the combat missions in advance. And we are still, a few weeks out from this update anyway, so they very well may publish that information here at a later date, but they haven't really, to my knowledge. I don't think they released the combat missions for the past 2 or 3 dockyards in advance. They've just been kind of what we've become accustomed to, right? So again, I think that, it's going to be a bit of a grind, but again, you get a free tier 10 premium ship after all that. So it's, hey, especially if you got the West Virginia 44, you literally get a free tier 10 premium ship. So that is a big positive thing in my mind. And it's actually pretty huge that they are giving away a free tier 10 premium ship if you already have the West Virginia 44. So yeah, that's pretty cool and pretty huge by my mind. And I think there's definitely an argument that you can't expect it to be more grindier than normal because it is the Wisconsin. It's the third Iowa sister, in the game. It's a very, very, very famous ship. Again, Iowa, New Jersey, Wisconsin, Missouri, right? on the North American server, there's going to be a ton of people that want to get it, so you could very well argue that, hey, look, they know people are going to want to get this ship, they're going to make the combat missions more grindy, that way you have more people playing the game, more people willing to spend money on the game. That is 100% true. I'm sure, again, the missions will be grindy. Are they going to crank it up that much? Again, given the Puerto Rico Dockyard event, I don't think they're going to go that crazy with it, but I would expect it to be a little bit of a grind. But who knows? They might be crazy enough to make it like the Puerto Rico Dockyard and make you grind your life away to get it. They very well could do that. But in my personal opinion, I'd say that's doubtful. They don't want to risk another Puerto Rico event and another huge wave of backlash. When, keep in mind, they lost the Russian server, right? So they're down to the North American, European, and SEA servers now. So they don't really want to risk losing any more players, which might be a very good reason why we've seen an uptick in like the quality of communication from Wargaming and the general more willingness to listen to the player base with recent changes and such here in the past couple of months, right? Which, I mean, that's a good thing in my opinion. I don't know if you guys have been reading the dockyards, not the dockyards, the dev blogs of the articles. They're translated a hell of a lot better now than they were, 3, 4, 5 months ago. So we got that going for us too. And the main, I almost forgot to talk about the main. The main was announced. She's in early access now via the auction, and it's a credit auction. It's not a coal auction. It's not a doubloon auction. So you can throw credits at the main if you want to try to get her early. They're credits. They're free. If you got a fun premium ship that you like to play, you can, grind those fairly easy if you know how to game the system, which I have several videos on that if you're interested in that. So that's another big positive thing from Wargaming here recently. So far, Wargaming's been on a positive streak. Let's hope it keeps up. I'm hoping the Wisconsin event isn't any more grindy than a normal Tier 10 dockyard should be, but we shall see when 13.3 gets released. So guys, that is my little bit of news coverage for today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hope you guys have a wonderful Friday. I will be live streaming here tonight on the channel and on Twitch around 3:30ish p.m. U.S. Central Time till about 6:30, 7 o'clock tonight. So make sure you come out for that. Hope you guys have a great Friday and a great weekend. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.